Well, this part of the world, we are spoilt for sights to see: the model Eiffel Tower, the Ferris wheel, the pyramids, the Sphinx, and of course the fountains of the Bellagio. But for 4,000 archers that have come to Las Vegas this weekend, there is one site that tops the bill, and it is the South Point Casino, a venue often used to host rodeo shows. It is also a mecca for the world of archery. But now we head on to the women's compound gold medal match. Toya Ellison of Slovenia, Marita Pas of Estonia. Toya Ellison having come through against Liko Ariola in the semi-finals and beating Sarah Priels of Belgium in the quarters before that. Composed start.
Toya Ellison here, so experienced, been World Field Archery Champion. She was second in the Outdoor World Cup as well last year. So experienced in these situations. Pass, highly experienced youth international. So she has been in final situations, but nothing quite this size.
Ellison with 29 in the first end. So to pass matches her. And the ebb and flow of a compounds competition, John, it's what a lot of people here have come to see, the Olympics of compound archery. Sometimes it's referred to as it's the real big draw here.
Yes, it is. In America, a lot more people shoot compound bows and recurve bows, but also now we've switched to the 15 arrows for total score, remember, with the compounds. And it's just a pressure cooker. With each arrow, the pressure builds more and more.
Ellison the first to the shooting line.
Ellison, always known to be an aggressive shooter, gives absolutely everything into every shot.
Pass with a centre. So composed, isn't she, Toya Ellison?
I think Pass will be hoping the judge has a look at that third arrow. It looked very close. She doesn't want to drop behind Ellison. She needs to keep up with her because the experience of Ellison, if she gets ahead, she'll cruise this home.
Well, for Ellison was Elisa Rona, who she beat in her last 16 match, whilst two Americans were beaten by Pass. Sharon Wallace and Paige Pierce. Ellison downing Ariola in her semi-final. Really convincing against Sarah Preels, actually, before that.
Pass looking nervous, but her arrows are finding the middle. Ellison just getting arrows, just creeping out, a little touch.
Three tens in this end.
Smiles when she walked off then.
Pass for the first time, John, showing Ellison the way.
Pass seems to be settling into this match quite nicely and getting stronger with every arrow. She looked very nervous and unsettled for the first few shots, but as the match is going on, she's looking calm, and Toya's looking a little bit more stressed. Schools all square.
Let's hear it for your favorite archers, ladies and gentlemen.
87 points apiece. Entering into the fourth end. Toya Ellison. Back to a 10 from the first arrow of this end. Little nod to confirm that. Pass matches her, and this feels so well balanced as a contest now.
Fourth end always has such a twist on the match. Pass looking calmer by the arrow. Toya looking a little bit stressed that she can't get away from her opponent, who, as I said, is a lot less experienced in these situations.
.29 for the end for Ellison. Almost a perfect 30 in that end, but not quite. So we stay all square.
Yeah, Pass looked really shocked on that last arrow that it went high. She thought that was going in the 10. And Toya looked back at her coach as she came off as well, looking a little bit confused as to why her one arrow didn't quite make it. I think she expected it to be a 10 as well.
without a doubt, the closest of the three finals we've seen so far tonight in the final hour of our action here this Saturday night in Las Vegas. On a knife edge. Ellison begins the final end. Final regulation end, I should say, because we could be going beyond that.
Not a clean shot there from Pass. You could see her backhand wasn't as clean as her previous shots. Toya now with a massive chance. Looks back at her coach after every shot.
Strong ending from Toya Ellison with a mark-up to be looked at. Pass needs a 10. Doesn't get it. It's going to be Toya Ellison. It is going to be Toya Ellison who'll take the gold medal. There were a couple of wobbles at times as Miri Marita Pass was riding a wave of momentum, but that experience in the final ends, all important.
Pass just lost her form on those last three arrows. All of a sudden, her release hand wasn't going back, it was coming out. And you could just see on the last arrows, her arrow was slightly creeping forward, which will make arrows go high.
Target 1, 9 and 9 and 10. Target 2, 9.
A popular winner here in Las Vegas, Toya Ellison. She has done it again.
It feels awesome. I have never shot in these finals. I shot finals, but I never made it into this amazing, the crowd and everything. So that was the goal today, and I knew I had to get into the gold medal match because bronze wouldn't be enough. So it feels amazing.
So it's the women's gold medal recurve final. Penny Healy of Great Britain, just 16 years old. What a moment this is in her young career. I think we can rely on a fair amount of support for this woman. Casey Kofold of the USA, the world silver medalist from Yankton last year. Formidable competitor, a rising star in this sport. So it's the first to 6 set points. That will be Kofold to start. Healy's first arrow of this gold medal match.
Kofold finding her middle. She's looking pretty relaxed out there, and of course she does have the home crowd. Penny shooting nice and quick so far. Looks very settled out there considering this is her first occasion in this arena.
Fantastic final arrow. as is Healy's, my goodness, settling well at the end of the first set.
That's a great opening set from both of these athletes. Both look really calm out there. And as we said before, this is a huge occasion for Penny Healy, her first major international finals. And at the moment, you cannot tell.
The initial marked up at 29 all, so a share of the points in the first set. One point each at the start of the second set. Kofold to begin. Warm applause for that first hour of this set. And Healy looks as dead-eyed as they come.
Healy shooting really quick here. Very aggressive shooting from her. Kofold shooting a little more slower, not quite on her center.
Opportunity for Healy, and she takes it. John, explain a little about what this will mean for archery in Great Britain, for Healy to be so young and to be operating at this level. There must be a lot of excitement about her.
She had a really fantastic back half of 2021. She was not in the Olympic selections at all, but she did get to go to the World Championships in Yankton in September last year as the alternate. So she took that opportunity. She showed great promise out there, wasn't really fazed by the event. She trains at the National Centre every day, and you can see the hard work is really paying off.
Casey Kofold, 3 points to 1 behind Healy as we start the third set. Another fine beginning.
Kofold started to look a little bit unsettled at the moment, which I'm surprised at with the home crowd and being a strong favourite in this match.
Penny Healy perfect so far. Perfect 3 arrows for Penny Healy. It's another 2 points. 5-1. She stands on the threshold, John.
That is absolutely incredible shooting by young Penny. Kofold is a huge name in this sport. It's not just shooting against the ability of Kofold, you're shooting against the name as well. And at the moment, in a home crowd, Penny is ignoring everything and she is going for it, and she is taking the chances she is being given.
Standing up now, John, and sealing a good start with a good ending. That's got to be the toughest part of this.
Well, this is to close it out is always a bit harder. So this is a massive set now. Kofold has to win. A draw is enough for Healy to take the title.
Kofold begins the set. Door opens up again for Healy.
Such a fast
And
shot.
they keep on raining down. John, apologies.
Kofold is slowing down. I think she's trying to be more careful. But Healy, the speed of her shooting is incredible.
Done everything she can do now. Casey Kofold in this set. Has that hit the line? It's going to need a measure. It's going to need a measure, John.
I think the judge is going to have his work cut on this. Obviously, if that arrow is on the line, Penny Healy will win. If it's not, Casey Kofold got a huge chance to get back into this match. We wait for the judge.
Magnifying glass required.
Sounds like the judge is giving it out.
So, we have a winner or not yet? 5-3.
Yeah.
After Penny Healy's
Confirmed.
perfect 30, so it goes to Kofold. She's right back in the match. So 5-3 are the scores heading into the fifth set. Kofold having got herself back in contention. Healy gets the better start.
Kofold has really been struggling on her top target face. She's had a lot of arrows go out to the right. She got away with one there by the look of it. She didn't look happy.
Another 10, and it puts Healy in an extremely good position. Kofold does everything she can. A 10 or a 9 seals victory for Healy. And she'll take it. Great Britain's Penny Healy, the 16-year-old, has won the women's recurve gold medal against Casey Kofold. What a performance in the final. What a performance across the entire competition.
That's an absolutely incredible performance from 16-year-old Penny Healy. You can see how overwhelmed she is there with Bryony Pittman, who she had to knock out in an earlier round, unfortunately. But absolutely huge effort, and what a giant killing as well.
I was so nervous that I didn't think I'd get any points at all, so it's my first gold medal match as a senior. It means so much, like, I don't know how to explain it, I'm lost for words.
Las Vegas welcomes into the arena Nicolas Girard of France and his opponents from Spain, Alberto Velázquez. Girard, the 21-year-old, And Alberto Velázquez of Spain hails from Madrid, lives now in Alcalá de Henares, 46-year-old, into this gold medal contest. Velázquez to get us underway.
And that was pushing. Took a 10 points. Used it.
And if he's nervous, he's not showing it.
9 start.
Velázquez was a bit close on the time on his first arrow. You could hear the buzzer. Needs to be careful of that.
So we got the ball.
28 each, Velázquez and Girard, after the first end. How are they looking to you, John?
Very nervous, very uncomfortable. Both of these guys shot perfect match scores on the elimination stages prior to this final to win their space in here. Girard has shot a perfect 600 for a qualification round as well this indoor season. So to see a pair of 28s, big surprise. And I think his head shake says it all.
And the messages that coaches will be passing on to their archers, John, at this point, I imagine there's nothing technical to point out. It's more about man management.
I think it's about managing the time, because obviously 20 seconds. Velázquez looked really caught out by that buzzer on the first end. He's not a fast shooter. He's a very steady shooter, but highly experienced. He's been in finals like this 10 years ago. Girard's like the new guy bursting onto the scene at the moment, but he shot in Nîmes finals and should not be shaken up by this.
Alberto Velázquez. A little more composed from Nicolas Girard, and the nod says he's happy.
More settled shot there from Velázquez, finding his timing now. Still looking frustrated, Girard, even though he's hit 2 10s.
So Velázquez not managing to keep pace with Girard in this end. And it's a perfect 3 arrows from Nicolas Girard. The turnaround from the first end evident.
2 of Velázquez's arrows have got stars on them. He really cannot afford to not pick at least one of those up. If he drops both of those, he's going to be in a whole world of trouble.
Target judge is marking that one down. Pointed finger to the floor indicating such.
10, target 2, 9, 10, 9. Confirm.
Confirmation's in, Jack, and it looked like Blázquez didn't pick either of those liners up.
John, if you're feeling a little let down perhaps after something like that, it can't be easy to put that aside instantly in the short turnaround you have.
You've just got to focus on the process of your shot. The minute you start thinking about what if or if only or what your opponent's done, it's not going to happen for you. You have to just focus on the process of the shot you're making.
Blázquez 2 behind Nicolas Girard at the start of the third end. He has put it behind him. Serenely calm on the shooting line, Nicolas Girard now.
I still feel on that very first arrow of the match, Blázquez got caught out by the time, and that buzzer just threw him right at the end of his shot. Now he's looking settled and his arrows are looking superb, but 2 behind, he's going to need something, Girard, to make mistakes now. And all of a sudden, Girard's shot looks more settled and more flowing, and that's going to be hard for Blázquez.
Blázquez making sure that he steps up to the plate. Perfect 30 from the Spaniard. It's perfect all round.
That's what we expect to see from these guys. Girard now with 6 on the bounce. He's looking really dangerous now and very relaxed, and he's in control of this match.
Target 1, 10, 10, 10. Target 2, 10, 10, 10.
John, what's your analytical eye picking up technically between the two athletes out there?
Well, Blázquez has a very controlled, not rushed process. Very steady on his aim. I think he tried to speed his process up, and it's taken him like 7, 8 arrows to really get his stride. Yeah, Girard is a very fast attacking shooter, much more aggressive in his technique, and he's settled a bit quicker than Blázquez. Bit more used to it, maybe because he shot in Nimes 2 weeks ago, and I think now Blázquez just cannot afford to miss again.
88 points for Nicolas Girard of France. Alberto Blázquez 2 behind on 86. Beginning of the 4th end. Blázquez needs another 3 perfect arrows.
Girard's shot then didn't look great, but he managed to steer it across and still catch a 10. He's really really flying now.
Blasquez raising his game. And applying his own pressure now to Nicolas Girard. So there we go, John. That is the type of finish to an end that Alberto Blasquez needed, and this contest set up a little more keenly now.
Well, I did say earlier, end number 4 in the compound match can just deal out anything. It's such a big turn. All of a sudden then, Girard had one just tweak out. Blasquez found his form, found his timing, looks much more comfortable. We're on a one-end match now.
Blasquez growing into the contest. Girard still looking composed, still looking calm. Final end about to begin. John Knott.
It looks like Girard picked up a liner there, so it's a 1-point game.
Fifth and final regulation end to this men's compound gold medal match. Alberto Blasquez, can he continue the comeback?
Blasquez finding his way. Can he keep turning the pressure up now? Looking superb in his form. His shots aren't rushed, but they are in the middle.
Blasquez looking for a 9th perfect arrow in a row to give himself a chance. And he's done it. Brilliant shooting from the Spaniard. But will it be enough against Nicolas Girard? Ten will do it. And he pumps the fist. That is victory for Nicolas Girard against the fast-charging Spaniard Alberto Blasquez. He hopped on.
Absolutely enthralling match there. Obviously, the standard wasn't incredible because they both dropped early points. But Girard picked up a really important liner on end number 4 when Blasquez was coming back really strong and had settled into that match. Girard just edged that one.
Pour moi, c'était la plus belle arène. Donc la gagner, c'est juste incroyable. C'était un rêve que j'ai depuis que j'étais petit. Donc je suis vraiment très heureux d'avoir gagné.
Felix Weiser, someone who triumphed in Nîmes 2 weeks ago. Thomas Chiraud of France, 24 years old, world ranked number 20. Weiser will begin. Someone who beats Jonah Wiltagen of the Netherlands in his semi-final.
Giraud slightly going left with his first few shots. Could be just adjusting to the light in this arena. Weiser picking up where he did leave off 2 weeks ago.
Expectation on this man's shoulders from the crowd, and he is not disappointing in the first set. A perfect 3 arrows from Felix Weiser. And Giraud will post a 28 score. Nothing doing against Weiser in the first set.
As I said before, Jack, just coming into these arenas, when there's spotlights coming down and around, you will get different, what they call a string picture of how the recurve athletes line the bowstring up against the side of the bow. And sometimes it suits you, sometimes it can slightly move your arrows left or right, and how quickly you adjust to that can define a final.
Can you define for us, John, what it feels like when you're in the type of form that Felix Weiser is in?
Wow. I think if we knew that, we'd be able to buy it in a bottle, wouldn't we?
Yes. Yes, that would be a sought-after potion indeed. Thomas Giraud at the start of the second set. Weiser completely demolished his opponent Alan Remar of Croatia in the previous rounds. 6 set points.
Much better from Giraud. He's looking really solid. His shots are looking very controlled, but he needs to put more pressure on Weiser.
Ten.
29 for Giraud. He's there to mop up the pieces if Weiser doesn't score a perfect arrow here.
10, 10, 10, and officially a draw.
And it's an if which we don't even need to answer because he continues that excellence.
Huge decision coming up by the judge on Giraud's second arrow. He needs to get that liner and make sure that Weiser doesn't go into a 4-point lead.
30 and 30. Target 1, 10, 10, 10. Target 2, 10,
So the measured up successful for Thomas Giraud. 3 points against 1 now. Well, the graphic will just update shortly, but share of the points in the last set. It's how good you've got to be to live with this man.
Shiro looks absolutely solid. No movement hardly on his long rod. He is looking very good. I'm a bit of commentator's curse there, I apologise. First straight arrow there. Yep. But he has the fatter arrows, so he could catch that line.
Opportunity for Weiser. Hardly a flicker as he centers it again. Another 2 points to Weiser.
That was the first time I've actually seen Weiser look slightly nervous on a shot on that second arrow then. I don't know if you noticed, just saw his long rod move a little bit and he was a little longer on his shot than he had been.
And John, Thomas Shiro is performing very well indeed. It's just so hard for him.
I think Shiro knows that he has to shoot perfect to give himself half a chance. As we said before, 2 weeks ago in the Nîmes final, in a very similar situation, Weiser shot 15 out of 15 inside that 10 ring.
(5-1). Felix Weiser over Thomas Shiro. Start of the fourth set. Shiro needing to shoot perfectly. Hello, hello.
Smile there from Shiro, just slowing down, both of them, and as they're slowing down, they're starting just to miss the lines.
Has Shiro done enough? Weiser hits 10, and it's an extremely strong recovery within that set. First wobbles that we've seen after the measures. We'll see if that's enough for the gold medal.
Weiser really looked like he was struggling to get over the line on that end. He just, after he finally missed a 10, he just kind of lost his way a bit, but did enough just to find himself over the line.
Felix Weiser, almost completely composed throughout this final. And when he showed a small crack, he still had the mettle to get the gold.
Just feels great. I don't know what I have to say. It wasn't the plan to come here, and I decided it on Monday, so the result is awesome.
It was a fine competition to round off with, John. And across the 4 events that we've seen today, Penny Healy, Felix Weiser, Toya Ellison and Nicolas Girard, what was your performance of the session?
Going to be a bit biased. Obviously, the breakthrough win of Penny Healy. Is there a new star coming through into World Archery? Toya Ellison, someone who's been around so long, finally winning a final like this, brilliant for her. Yeah, Girard, been the form player, World Archery compound indoors, gets the win he deserves. And Weiser backing up his incredible performance in Nîmes with an incredible win here. How about that?
It's a summary round off, perfectly done. Thank you, John Knott of GB Archery. Thank you for joining us, John, as well. It's been great to have your company, and thank you all for watching as well. It's been a pleasure to watch these finals with you all around the world. So thank you for joining us on World Archery channels and wherever you're watching it from around the world. It's been a pleasure having your company.